All right. How is everyone?
Good, good.
Good. I should close some tabs because I have many open. Where's David today? No idea. All right. Should we start with? You can start with Steve's Shift PR. I'm pretty happy with this PR now. I mean, it seems to be what we discussed the other day.
Yeah, so all I did was update it so it actually returns an app instead of creating one, instead of just moving it, changing it in place. That's basically it. So I guess one thing that could be maybe a little confusing. So it returns a map and it stores the value of the shift in a property called shift amount as
Which I'm kind of
Hangout meeting.
as was mentioned, it's not like a great name, but it's annoying that the noun shift and the verb shift are the same word.
Yeah. Oh.
yeah. Also, because it's because it's like a history as well. It's a little bit strange.
That's right. So as it tells you, so when you create a new map, it actually will just change in place the values of the reference pixel at CRVal 1 and 2. It will change those in place so that this new map, save it, it's fine. But it does store the shift value under shift amount. So that shift value is kind of a historical shift value. It's what's been applied. So the other nice thing to it is that if you shift again, that gets added to the shift value. So you can always go back if you wanted to. So you can undo it from the original. And you can query and see how much it has been shifted, right?
Yeah, that is kind of useful.
Yeah, it's useful, but maybe a little confusing because the shift value is only there for storage. It's not used in any place anymore.
You could call it something like shift history or something.
Yeah.
But that's flawed as well. Yes, I don't know. Applied shift. Applied shift. Yes. The docstring for the shift method has an incomplete sentence in it. But other than that, and the name of shift amount.
As what? Sorry?
The docstring just says to check how a shift has been set and then nothing else.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Also, I would, where you've said CRVal 1, CRVal 2, I would point to our reference coordinate property instead.
Where in the document?
In the docstring for shift.
Well, I do say it's applied directly to the reference coordinate, and then I just say IE.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could link to the reference coordinate. and say like normally rather than you could put in a type.
Yes.
Like if you put that.
I have to remind myself how to do that again.
Ah, missed the tags out. Forgotten how to force it to do.
I also removed the shift reset command. Should I put that back now that I think of it? It seems like
No, because you could just do map.shift star map.shift history or shift amount, right?
yeah,
You could just feed one back into the input of the other.
that's right, with negative signs.
Oh yeah, that means that doesn't work quite so well.
Yeah, I mean, I removed it simply so that, cleaner.
You could specify you could specify an inverse flag to shift. Or like reverse flag, so that it automatically multiplies the inputs by -1, but that's a bit weird. It's just because it makes the API easier, right? In that you could do
Hey, David. Hey, Jack. Yeah.
rather than like shift
But
X -1, Y -1, which is substantially more verbose. But
yeah. Unfortunately, you currently can't do that because shift amount is a pair, and I thought had agreed that pairs would not be something users deal with.
well, pairs are just tuples. They're just named tuples, so you can do that. And that's one of the reasons why we moved to pair in the first place, is because it allows you to do stuff like that.
That would mean that so right now it's shift X, Y, right?
Yeah. But that's the same. So all that star m shift amount is doing is just specifying the args as a tuple to the function, right? It's just star args.
Oh, so this would work. Shift star m dot shift.
Yeah.
Would expand out the tuple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
But obviously that would double the shift rather than reverse the shift.
Right, unless you do the inverse.
Well, yeah, you could specify inverse, but that is a bit odd. Shift in the opposite direction. If you think it'd be useful, you could do it, I suppose. It's not a terrible idea. But
Yeah, it's a little weird. I don't like adding that keyword.
yeah.
Because people will then be asked like, what does it mean? They'll have to worry about it right away. I don't know. I would say we ignore it for now, and we can add it in if people want it.
Yeah. Suggestions on a better name than shift amount, because it doesn't seem right. To my mind, it should be past tense somehow, because that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because the actual shift amount is encoded in the raw metadata now. What that property is actually describing is the total shift that has ever been applied to the original metadata.
So why not shifted amount?
Yeah, shifted amount, applied shift.
Amount of shift.
Huh?
Amount of shift.
Ugh.
That doesn't really fit with other things that we have generally.
Yeah, I like shifted amount, but should we call it shifted quantity or
No.
value? I like event amount, value,
Magnitude.
and magnitude. I mean, those all refer to like a number in some way, but quantity actually has a little bit more information, I think. And it refers to the fact that you will get an actual quantity. I don't know. Vector?
Yeah, vector. What's wrong with vector?
Shifted vector.
Shift vector.
'Cause that's weird.
Yeah. This sounded a little weird.
Displacement.
I like something in past tense. So, shift history, shifted amount, shifted quantity. That's weird. Shifted amount seems to work best.
Worst YouTube video ever.
Ever. A group of people
Okay, I'm
sitting
gonna
in
believe it as
meeting.
shifted amount. Or shifted value. Value?
Yeah, whatever. We can have this discussion on GitHub. We don't have to do it via video chat.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think that's pretty good. A few tidy ups, but mostly it's. I'm happy with the implementation. But it's the same as the other types of methods we have on map, and it's generally applicable. There's a lot of work needs to be done on map. Oh dear. Something weird seems to have happened with the figure hashes in that they are now being generated differently on Apvea to Travis.
Yeah, I saw some of that.
Something broke. So something changed on Travis, so I updated the hashes for Travis, and now they're broken on Apvea, which is a better way round, but at the same time, it's one of the dependencies that's still changed. They broke on my local machine as well, so it must be a Conda Linux dependency that's changed. But not on Windows. I don't know whether someone will find the time to look into that.
I think you're the master of those systems.
Well, it's the figure test. It's working out what has changed, why the figure tests have shifted. But I don't know. Anyway, I'll get around to it. Maybe if we just wait a few days, the dependencies will update on Apvea and it will magically start working.
Do we have anywhere the original figures that?
No, this is the problem with the system that we implemented. Is we never got that far, right?
Yeah, but when we produce the hash, are those figures saved somewhere?
No.
Could we save it somewhere in the data.SunPy or something? Just to check for curiosity what has changed between one and the other.
So it would be quite interesting to be able to save those. It'd be interesting to save those locally so that you could run, like you could check out a commit, run it, and then check out a different commit and run it again to make sure they look the same. That would be relatively easy to do.
Well, it's a little difficult because when you run the test locally, it's almost always done in a sandbox environment. So unless you want to write it out to SunPy data as part of the test, I mean.
Well, you could, if you wanted, if the user wanted to explicitly save the figures, you could ask them for a directory, like on the command line when you run the tests. Maybe, might be a bit of work. But what I would like to do, my idea with all of this is to, I don't know whether anyone's seen the airspeed velocity thing for benchmarks, performance benchmarks. I can imagine that it would only be a medium amount of work to be able to modify that to save figures, to do figure history testing. But I don't have time to look into that.
I am not signing up for this. I am not signing up for this. Not going to happen.
Well, it must just be a dependency shift because I went back and tested the commits and it broke all the history as well. So it's just something in the stack has changed. So if it doesn't iron itself out over the next week or something, I'll take a look at it. Because it could just be the Windows build has lagged behind the Linux one. Something's changed somewhere in the packages that continue and build, and it's broken one but not the other. Give it a little while, they might rebuild them all again or something. The other option is we just turn off figure testing on Windows.
Why does Windows get off so easy?
It's true that it's only Windows as well, because the Mac builds on Travis are still passing. So, anyway.
Yeah, rebased the shift thing.
So, if when reviewing pull requests for the next little while, I wouldn't worry about that. They fails too much, unless it's a particularly large pull request. You want to check it.
Are people okay with my PR then? Can they +1 it? You're okay with it?
I think the docstring for shifted value could do with being a tad more descriptive.
Huh?
Come on, that's not a straightforward thing, and that sentence is not particularly, doesn't do a particularly good job of explaining what it is. Right, it's a total shift applied to the reference coordinate, but explicitly by shift, right?
Yeah, come in.
Oh.
I have a talk on. Oh, this. Sorry, yes. This is what you're doing. That's the old email from the NDL. Okay. Okay.
Also, your the SunPy map generic map reference coordinate things need backticks. My bad, because GitHub cancelled it out, but they should be, those references should be enclosed in single backticks.
The doc things. What? What should be in backticks?
The SunPy.generic map, SunPy.map.generic.reference coordinate should be backticks. Have backticks around them. Like it's the same as like the parameters, AstroPy units quantity, same thing.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any objections to 1582, the Python 3 port of SunPy.map? Oh, yeah, I have an objection to this. I object to my own pull request. That's broken.
I updated it. Updated.
Live coding, people. looks good as long as it passes. Are there any other pull requests that need?
Actually, before we do that, how is oh shit, I have to leave in 4 minutes. But you said you had broken master. Is that fixed now?
Oh yeah, that fixed it.
Okay. Good.
I don't remember how I did that now. No, can't remember. I did something stupid.
There's been a lot of activity last period.
Yeah, anyone else got any pull requests they want to look at?
I want to discuss a bit the one I've done on SolarSoft map.
Oh yeah.
So the idea is people that have maps saved on save files, they can read them on Python, and then that function is supposed to convert the weird dictionary that you get from SunPy, read stuff into a map. Does anyone have suggestions, comments on what they should do beside of what is there already? Like I found really useful this last week when people were at work, they have like save files and they were like, oh, but I want to make the plot in SunPy, and they have the save maps.
So it works? The code works, right? Oh, he's left.
Is it something I said?
Exactly.
Stony silence. Is he not comfy? Everybody's left. It's got very quiet in. No, David returns. Does he?
He's back.
Sorry about that. I think I'm back.
You are. So you tried this function, it works fine with.
So that function is I did a small one for my colleagues at work, and it worked fine for the map that we were trying at the moment. This one is that one hasn't been, the one that I put there hasn't been tested yet, but I have all this list of things to do to make the function to work. So there are things like a map in SolarSoft doesn't save the telescope name; it saves something called ID. So that could be used as a telescope, but I haven't checked too much in the details of that one. And then there is other keywords that I have to check whether they are actually mapping properly. So what I did there, actually, it's just taking the make map routine in SolarSoft and trying to map it back with what we have as a map. But then there is other things that comes from index to map or fits to map, and how to handle whether when you have an array of maps in SolarSoft, how to handle it back to as a cube. I assume that when you have an array of maps, they are all the same, but I'm not completely sure. Like they are all the same dimensions, but probably that's not true.
Yeah, I don't know. It's stored. It's an array, right? I forget what an array of maps is. Just it's an ID. Forget what kind of structure it is. What kind of.
Surely it's
in ideal, you can get a structure of multiple dimensions, of multiple. So an array of structures, but I'm not dimensions.
It's a structure.
Sorry?
So it's a struct array, but all of the structs in the array might not have the same shape.
I'm not sure. That's something that I'm not. I haven't. Like
Because
normally when
okay,
I've done that.
Because our map cubes don't enforce the same shape either.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay, then it should be fine.
I think this would be quite cool to have actually.
Yeah, I found it like really, like 2 people in my office found it really useful, and that was like a very small one.
If we actually make it work, we could integrate it into Map Factory. So if you throw Map Factory a save file, it tries to interpret it as a.
The problem. No, I wouldn't do that because a save file might not contain just maps, may contain a lot of other crap.
Yeah, sure, but you could test to make sure that it is actually something before you try and read it in.
No, yeah, but what I mean is like it can contain a map and other multiple variables, and I don't know from
sure, we just read the map bit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Put it on the comments, so I will remember to do that on the to check that thing. The other thing is I was saying before when my connection went out. So when you plot a map, which it doesn't have the same dimensions in X and Y, same scale. In SunPy, it doesn't respect the scale. Is that on purpose?
It should do with WCS axes.
No, it doesn't.
No?
Nope. At least not in my machine when I try it, and I have WCS axes.
CDEL? You mean if CDEL is not the same in X and Y, it doesn't work properly?
Yeah. So it just plot the image as they have the same size. I mean, the coordinates are right, but the image. So okay. So imagine you have a pixel.
So the coordinates are correct, but the pixels are still square.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's really easy. It's just like what we did at work was there is a Matplotlib thing that you just put and it works. But I suppose that should be as a default for all the maps.
Yeah, if that seems like it's an oversight, that should be fixed.
Okay, so I will then make that as a different pull request.
seems quite good, but on the other hand, it does involve some serious IDL witchcraft, and this makes me sad. But, you know, you've got to be able to get people in, get them in.
I'm sure Dominic would be very helpful if there's any funkiness, anything you want to know about maps. He's kind of interested in SunPy in general, so we'd be keen to help.
Awesome.
Out, sure.
So maybe I should write an email to the mailing list with the pull request and get more people to add comments there.
If Dominic had any time, I'm sure he'd be able. He'd love to do this.
Who's Dominic?
Dominic Zaro is the person who wrote the.
Who broke Solar Monitor every weekend.
Every weekend, when he.
Well, for a while, yeah, they were every day. Like it was something. Solar Monitor was not working on the weekend, and it was because he got updated SolarSoft on Friday night or Saturday morning, and
Yes.
there were some changes that Dominic did.
Automatically updating code in production. Jesus Christ.
That's SolarSoft. I think since a while ago I have forbid to update SolarSoft in the Solar Monitor machine.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, but yeah.
Does anyone have any comments on the Python 3 map port, by the way? I'd like to get that merged in.
Last time I looked, I think it was good. I'm checking again.
I haven't really changed anything, I don't think. I want to get that in because I can move on to the next one once that's done. Although that is going to break all the things. Oh, if I merge that before Steve's pull request, he'll get really angry and it'll be really funny. It's because I'm cruel.
Yeah, it doesn't look anything crazy in here. So range no long. So range is that becomes an iterator or something. And
Yeah, in 3, range is now an iterator, which is the same as what xrange was before.
right.
So
That's why you have to put list in front of everything.
yes, if you want a list out of range, you have to explicitly tell it you want one.
So what's this from .soho import EIT map? What does that dot signify? You going up one level? Is that the
It's the same directory. So
the same
it's
directory?
it's a relative import rather than an absolute import. Whereas dot dot would be up 1. And
Okay.
dot dot would be up 2. So it's the difference between importing inside the package and importing from the system path. It's occasionally useful if you need to avoid recursive import problems and stuff. You can import without having to import the whole of the package above it, I think.
Is it also an iterator now?
Hmm? What?
Zip. Is it also an iterator?
Is what?
Zip.
SIP.
Set IP.
Where?
Like no, because you're putting list of a zip. So I wonder. Oh, that was the iZip, right? Yeah.
Oh, zip. Yes, zip is now also an iterator.
Okay.
Yes, zip is the same.
Sure. I notice in your pull in 1582 in MapBase you remove long from there's like is instance draw grid int long float. Is long no longer in Python 3?
Yeah. That's interesting. I wonder whether that would make a difference in Python 2.
Because the type error underneath that mentions long as well. Should that be kept?
Shit. Oh yeah, that's a good spot. Actually, that doesn't work. That is broken.
It's broken.
Yeah, because I've removed it from that list. If it's Python 2 and it gets passed along, it won't work.
Okay.
Which is a bad thing. That would be a bad thing. Shit. Okay. I think I've done that somewhere else as well. All right. Anyone got anything else?
No.
Cool. Well, once again, your weekly reminder to have a look at Unified Downloader if you find yourself bored.
No, I want that.
It needs. If we're going to get that into, if we're going to release 0.7 sometime in the future, we've got to work on that.
Yeah.
It's expanding along with the universe.
Yep.
Deadlines. It's not me, it's space-time.
I love deadlines. I love the whooshing noise they make as they go flying past. All right then. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.